folks, how you doing? Um, well, listen, I just want to take a moment and talk about a couple of the series that we're going to be speaking on, and it'll be for the next few months. On Sundays, we're speaking about that particular sound of the finished work. Uh, One of the things that really blessed me, as I shared in a previous devotion, of going back to the conference in New York, was just the beauty of all the people that had a common sense. It was a sound. It was a commonality. It wasn't just that the messages were all the same, that everybody said, used the same vocabulary. It wasn't any of that. It was just the sound. There's a sound that comes out from God through the Spirit regarding the finished work. And I know at times these are terms that have been, overused and abused, and in many ways people have become very familiar with them. Much like we do our loved ones, we just are used to them, so we don't appreciate the beauty and just the gift that they are in our lives. But the sound of the finished work, I was just overwhelmed with all the portions from all over the world, and it came down to one specific thing. It was the sound of what the finished work produces in the life of a believer. And what does that mean to us? Well, one thing that I want to discuss as we go through this series is, what is the finished work? Where did it come from? We'll be talking about some of that this Sunday. But how does it affect us? How does it relate to faith? There's many different aspects to faith these days. Faith regarding various forms that are even spoken of in the church. For example, there's faith in technology, faith in science. Some people have tried to blend that into the Christian church, that somehow we can tie these two together. The truth is that our faith is not decided by man or any of man's achievements. Our faith is based upon a person that came from outside of this world into this world, lived among us, and then became a propitiation, appeased God's wrath for our sins and all of our misdeeds, the things that we've done wrong. That was Jesus. And our faith is based on what science can't prove. I'm not saying that's not historically accurate. I'm not saying that we can't prove that there was a Jesus, and we can't prove that he didn't have disciples and that those disciples didn't go on and establish the church. That's all. There's no book in the world that has more evidential documentation than the Bible. But what we can't say is that we can prove that he was raised from the dead, other than the conviction we have in our heart. There's an issue of faith. There are people that put faith in faith, meaning it's not so much what you believe in, it's just believe. You hear a lot of that today. Just believe. Believe that you're going to do good. Believe. Just conceptualize that everything's going to be all right. Faith in faith. And the truth of the matter is, faith has to have an object, and that object can't be you or me. It has to be him. Jesus is the author, the finisher of our faith in Hebrews 12:1. Jesus is the means by which we live our life, and the only way that we can please God in Galatians 2:20 and 21. It has to be Jesus. It has to be in and of him. It's just as simple as that. There's some people that put, as I've said recently, I heard a very devout, beautiful, wonderful man of God, not a Christian and not a believer in the sense of Christianity, but a very respected conservative Jew, say that the difference, the centrality of works versus the centrality of faith, is the difference between Christianity and Judaism. It's true. It is. We believe in a faith that works by love. It's motivated by the love that Christ himself imparts to us. A love that was shown to us through the very gift of God's Son to this earth. That love motivates us in 2 Corinthians 5:7. We believe that. We believe that it causes us to serve others in Galatians 5:13. This is the motivation of our life. Whereas for many people, and I'm not saying this is wrong or bad, their faith is in the works that they do and the sense of achieving good works. And by the way, both produce good works. One's motivated by a necessity to be accepted. The other is motivated by the love of having been accepted. There is a difference. And I'm going to leave you with that. Till next time, friends, God bless you.
3, 2, 1.